I want a break so I can meet other people, said my girlfriend Haley. You'll wait for me, right? I smiled. Great, I'll check my compatibility too, with your best friend. Her face turned pale as I left the apartment. Carter's boots hit the pavement outside their Seattle apartment, the late March rain slicking his hair as he jogged up the steps from his paramedic shift. At 29, he was used to chaos, blaring sirens, split-second decisions, lives hanging in the balance. But home with Haley, his girlfriend of 18 months, was his anchor. Their life together felt like a rhythm he could count on. Her cooking dinner while he decompressed, their evenings spent binge-watching shows, planning a future that seemed just within reach. Maybe a house in Fremont, a garage for his motorcycle. Tonight, though, something felt off. He unlocked the door, expecting the usual aroma of Haley's cooking, maybe her signature stir-fry. Instead, the apartment was quiet, the kitchen dark. Haley sat on the couch, her phone glowing in her hand, her posture stiff. She worked at a tech startup downtown, a marketing whiz whose stories about ad campaigns usually lit up her face. But now, her expression was unreadable, like she'd been rehearsing something. "Carter, we need to talk," she said, setting her phone down. Her voice carried that heavy tone he'd heard too often in emergency calls, calm, but loaded with bad news. He dropped his keys on the counter, heart rate ticking up like it did before code blue. "What's up?" he asked, keeping his tone steady. He was good at staying calm under pressure. It was why he was a damn good paramedic. Haley shifted, putting space between them on the couch. "I've been thinking about us a lot," she started, her words measured. "I love you, Carter, I do. But I'm not sure we're compatible long-term. I need to know for sure." His stomach twisted, but he kept his face neutral. "What are you saying, Haley?" She took a deep breath, her eyes locked on his. "I want to take a break. 6 months. I need to explore what's out there. Date other people. Make sure we're not just settling because it's comfortable." Her words hung in the air, sharp and cold, like a scalpel slicing through the life they'd built. Carter leaned back, processing. He'd seen this coming, hadn't he? The late nights at the gym, the way she'd been glued to her phone, the distance in her kisses. "You've already got someone in mind, don't you?" he asked, his voice low but firm. Her cheeks flushed slightly, betraying her. "There's this guy Zach from my gym. He's been asking me out, and I've been saying no because of us. But maybe this is a sign I should see what's out there." Carter's jaw tightened. Zach, the CrossFit bro with a man bun, always posting shirtless gym selfies. "Of course. So what? You expect me to sit here and wait while you test drive Zach?" His tone was even, but the sarcasm cut through. Haley's eyes flickered with something, guilt, maybe, or defiance. "You could date too, Carter. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I just think this will prove what we have is special." She sounded like she was pitching a campaign, not dismantling their relationship. He stood, walking to the kitchen counter to put distance between them. His mind raced, but years of handling emergencies taught him to stay cool. "Fine, Haley," he said, crossing his arms. 6 months. Let's test this compatibility properly. But just so we're clear, I'm not sitting around waiting. I'll be exploring my options too." Her face froze, like she hadn't expected that. "What?" she said, her voice smaller now. "You're serious?" "Dead serious," he replied, meeting her gaze. "If we're doing this, we're doing it fair. You get Zach, I get to see what's out there. Deal?" She nodded, but her confidence seemed to crack, her eyes darting to her phone. "Okay, that's fair." She grabbed her bag, mumbling something about needing to meet a friend, and left the apartment. Carter stood alone, the silence deafening. He didn't feel anger yet, just a strange clarity. Haley had just handed him a grenade, but he wasn't the type to let it explode in his hands. The next morning, Haley was already packing. "I'm staying with a friend in Capitol Hill," she said, tossing clothes into a duffel bag. Carter helped her carry boxes to her car, watching her select her favorite outfits with care, like she was prepping for a new life. She'd already changed her Instagram bio to new vibes, new adventures. Subtle. "I'll text you in a few days," she said, sliding into her car. But her eyes didn't meet his, and Carter knew she was already halfway gone. The apartment felt hollow without her. He went through his routine, coffee, gym, work, but the absence of her laughter, her stories, left a void. By the third day, he was scrolling through her Instagram, seeing her first post since the breakup. A selfie with Zach at a rooftop bar, her smile bright but forced, captioned, "Living my truth." Carter closed the app, shaking his head. If this was her truth, he'd find his own. That weekend, he stopped by a coffee shop in Pike Place Market before his shift. The line was long, the air thick with the scent of roasted beans. As he waited, a familiar voice called his name. Carter? Hey. He turned to see Emma, Haley's best friend from college, standing behind him. At 28, Emma was a graphic designer, always quick with a laugh and a sharp wit. She'd been at their game nights, their barbecues, always treating Carter like more than just Haley's boyfriend. Rough week, huh? Emma said, her brown eyes warm with sympathy. Haley told me about the break. I think she's lost her mind. Carter chuckled, the first real laugh he'd had in days. Yeah, you could say that. Coffee's on me, if you've got time to talk. They grabbed a table by the window, the Seattle rain streaking the glass. Emma didn't pry, just listened as Carter vented about Haley's compatibility test. She shared her own stories, her latest design project, a client who kept changing their logo colors, and Carter found himself relaxing, the weight of the week lifting. Emma had this way of making you feel heard, like your words mattered. Unlike Haley, who'd often interrupt with her own thoughts, Emma asked questions, leaned in, cared. I tried to talk her out of it, Emma admitted, stirring her latte. Told her she was throwing away something good. But she kept saying she needed to follow her heart, whatever that means. Carter nodded, sipping his coffee. Her heart's at the gym with Zach, apparently. Emma rolled her eyes. Zach's a walking red flag. All abs, no depth. She'll figure that out soon enough. They parted ways with a promise to grab coffee again. As Carter headed to the station, he felt lighter, like he'd found a lifeline in the storm Haley had left behind. Emma's number was in his phone now, and though he didn't know it yet, that chance meeting was the first step towards something bigger, something Haley's test would never have predicted. Carter's paramedic shifts kept him grounded, the adrenaline of saving lives a distraction from the void Haley left. 3 weeks into their compatibility test, he was adapting to the new normal. Solo dinners, empty evenings, and Haley's Instagram flooding with curated moments. Her latest post showed her and Zach at a trendy Belltown sushi spot, her laughter staged for the camera, captioned, "Finding my vibe." Carter swiped it away, refusing to let it sting. He had his own life to live. His connection with Emma, Haley's best friend, was becoming a bright spot. What started as a chance coffee meetup turned into regular hangouts. Emma texted him after tough shifts, asking about his day with a sincerity that felt foreign after Haley's distracted half-listening. They'd meet at a diner near his station or grab takeout and watch documentaries at his place. Emma's stories about her graphic design work, crafting logos for local nonprofits, or wrestling with picky clients, were a welcome change from Haley's polished marketing tales. Emma's passion for her craft, her quick humor, made Carter feel seen in ways he hadn't realized he'd been missing. One evening, over pizza at his apartment, Emma scrolled through her phone and laughed. "Look at this," she said, showing him Haley's latest story. Her and Zach flexing a CrossFit gym, captioned, "Stronger together." The video looped, their smiles wide but hollow. "She's trying so hard to sell this," Emma said, shaking her head. "It's like she's auditioning for a rom-com." Carter leaned back, taking a bite of pizza. "She's auditioning for something, all right. Wonder how long till Zach gets bored." He kept his tone light, but the thought lingered. Haley was building a fantasy, and he wasn't part of it. Emma set her phone down. "I told her this was a mistake. She called me last week, going on about how Zach's so driven. But I could hear it in her voice. She's not happy. She's just too stubborn to admit it." Carter nodded, unsurprised. "She wanted to test us. I'm just following her rules." He didn't mention how much he looked forward to these nights with Emma, how her texts were now the highlight of his day. It wasn't romantic, not yet, but it was real, and that was enough. Meanwhile, Haley's social media campaign intensified. She posted daily, Zach lifting her onto his shoulders at a music festival, clinking cocktails at a rooftop bar, running along the waterfront at sunrise. Friends texted Carter updates he didn't ask for. Haley and Zach were the talk of their circle, but whispers hinted at cracks. Zach flirted with other women at the gym, and Haley was clingier than he liked. Carter ignored the gossip, focusing on his shifts and Emma's company. One rainy Saturday, Emma invited him to a local art walk where one of her designs was featured in a gallery. Carter, off-duty, agreed, curious to see her work in person. The event buzzed with people, and Emma's poster for a community cleanup stood out, vibrant, bold, drawing a crowd. She beamed as strangers complimented her, and Carter felt a surge of pride. "You're killing it," he said, nudging her shoulder. Thanks, she replied, her smile genuine. Means a lot you came. They wandered the exhibits, talking about everything. Her dream of starting her own studio, his craziest paramedic calls. For the first time in weeks, Carter wasn't thinking about Haley. That night, back at his place, Emma lingered by the door. You're handling this whole thing better than most would, she said. Haley doesn't know what she lost. Carter shrugged, but her words hit deep. Maybe she'll figure it out. Maybe not. Either way, I'm done waiting. Emma nodded, her eyes holding his a moment longer than usual before she left. He stood there, heart racing, wondering if he'd imagined the spark. The next day, a text from a mutual friend, Jen, pulled him back to reality. Heads up, Haley's telling people you're moping while she's living her best life. Thought you should know. Carter frowned, annoyed but not shocked. Haley was rewriting the narrative, painting him as the sad ex while she played the liberated heroine. He didn't respond, but the message lit a fire. If Haley wanted to play games, he'd play smarter. He started posting on Instagram. Not much, just enough. A shot of him and his paramedic crew grabbing coffee after a shift, caption, "Good people, good days." A photo from the art walk, tagging Emma's design with supporting talent. Nothing overt, but deliberate. Haley's likes stopped appearing on his posts, but mutual friends said she was watching. A week later, Emma called him, her voice tense. Haley just texted me. She saw us tagged together and flipped out. Asked if we're hanging out behind her back. Carter's jaw clenched. Haley had no right to care. She'd moved out, moved on. But Emma sounded rattled. I told her we're just friends, but she's acting like I betrayed her. She's the one who wanted this, Carter said, his voice firm. She doesn't get to dictate who we talk to. I know, Emma sighed. But she's telling people I'm stealing you. It's getting messy. Carter felt a surge of protectiveness. Let her talk. She made her choice. We're not doing anything wrong. Emma agreed, but the call left a knot in his stomach. Haley was escalating, trying to control the story. He wasn't surprised, but it made him realize how far she'd drifted from the woman he thought he loved. The next evening, Carter was at the station when his phone buzzed with a text from Haley. We need to talk. I'm coming over tomorrow after your shift. No question, no context, just a demand. He stared at the message, his gut telling him this wasn't about reconciliation. Haley had seen the posts, heard the whispers. She was losing her grip on the narrative, and she wasn't going down quietly. Carter texted Emma, filling her in. She's coming for a fight, he wrote. Emma's reply was quick. You've got this. Don't let her twist it. He smiled, grateful for her steadiness. Whatever Haley was planning, he wasn't the same guy she'd left 3 weeks ago. He was done playing her game on her terms. As he prepped for his next shift, Carter felt the stakes rising. Haley's test was unraveling, and the real test was coming. Not of compatibility, but of who could face the truth. He wasn't sure what Haley would say tomorrow, but one thing was clear. He wasn't backing down. Carter's shift at the Seattle paramedic station dragged into the early hours, a blur of emergency calls and paperwork. Haley's text from the previous night, we need to talk. I'm coming over tomorrow after your shift, loomed over him like a storm cloud. He hadn't responded, focusing instead on the job, stabilizing a car accident victim, rushing a heart attack patient to the ER. But as he drove home at dawn, the confrontation with Haley weighed heavier. She was coming to reclaim control, and he wasn't about to let her. He pulled into his apartment complex, the Seattle skyline gray under a drizzle. Haley's car was already parked outside, her silhouette visible in the driver's seat. She stepped out as he approached, her posture tense, arms crossed. You look tired, she said, her voice clipped like she was sizing him up. Long shift, Carter replied, unlocking the door. He didn't invite her to sit or offer coffee. This wasn't a social call. What's this about, Haley? She followed him inside, pacing the living room. I heard you've been hanging out with Emma, she said, her tone sharp. My best friend, Carter. Really? Well, I'm out there figuring things out. You're moving in on her? Carter leaned against the kitchen counter, keeping his cool. Years of handling high-stakes emergencies had taught him to stay steady. You want a break, Haley. You wanted to test our compatibility. I'm just following your rules. You got Zach, I've got my life. What's the problem? Her eyes narrowed. The problem is you're making me look like a fool. People are talking, saying you're already over me, cozying up with Emma. I saw your Instagram posts. You're not even trying to hide it. Carter's phone buzzed on the counter, Emma's name lighting up the screen. Hope your shift was okay. Want to grab breakfast? He didn't touch it, But Haley's gaze zeroed in, her face twisting with realization. "You're not just hanging out, are you?" she snapped. "You're into her. My best friend. How long has this been going on?" Carter crossed his arms, his voice calm but firm. "Emma and I started talking after you moved out. You left, Haley. You packed your bags, started posting with Zach the next day. You don't get to play the victim because I'm not sitting here pining for you." Haley stopped pacing, her hands clenching. "I didn't think you'd actually move on. I thought you'd fight for us, show me we're worth it. This isn't how it was supposed to go." He almost laughed at the audacity. "You thought I'd wait 6 months while you dated other guys? You set the rules, Haley. I'm just playing by them. And honestly, Emma's been a better friend to me in 3 weeks than you were in months." Her jaw dropped, like she'd been slapped. "So that's it? You're choosing her over me? After everything we had?" Carter shook his head, feeling the weight of the past 18 months lift. "We had routines, Haley. Dinners, shows, plans. But you checked out long before you said it out loud. Emma listens. She cares. She doesn't need to test me to know what we've got." Haley's voice cracked, but her anger held. "You're making a mistake. Emma's just writing the drama, trying to one-up me. You'll see who she really is when this blows up." "That's enough," Carter cut in, his tone sharp now. "You don't get to trash her because your plan backfired. You wanted to explore, so explore. But leave us out of it." Haley grabbed her bag, storming toward the door. "This isn't over, Carter. People need to know what you're doing behind my back." She slammed the door, leaving a charged silence in her wake. Carter exhaled, texting Emma. Haley was here. "Went about as well as you'd expect. Breakfast sounds great." Emma replied instantly. "Yikes. Meet me at the diner in 30? You can vent." At the diner, over pancakes and coffee, Carter filled Emma in. Her eyes widened at Haley's accusations, but she stayed calm. "She's spinning this to save face," Emma said, cutting into her food. "I got a call from Jen last night. Haley's telling everyone you betrayed her. She's even saying I planned this to steal you." Carter frowned, his fork pausing. "She's out of line. You didn't do anything wrong." "Neither did I." Emma nodded, but her expression was tight. "I know, but she's loud, Carter. Her posts are getting traction. People who don't know the full story are buying her version." He leaned back, the diner's hum fading as he processed. Haley was weaponizing social media, turning their breakup into a public spectacle. He'd seen her marketing skills in action, polished, persuasive. Now she was using them to paint him as the villain. "Let her talk," he said finally. "Truth comes out eventually." Emma's phone buzzed. Another message from a mutual friend. "Haley's latest post is wild. You and Carter okay?" Emma showed it to him, and he scrolled through Haley's Instagram. A new post, a photo of her looking pensive at a coffee shop, captioned, "Sometimes you trust the wrong people, and they break your heart. But I'm stronger for it." The comments were a mix, some supportive, others skeptical, a few calling out her hypocrisy. "She's building a narrative," Emma said, her voice low, "and she's good at it." Carter handed the phone back. "Then we keep living our lives. She can't control that." He meant it, but the knot in his stomach tightened. Haley's move was calculated, and he knew her next play would be bigger. That night, he got a call from his captain, Eduardo, who'd heard the rumors through the grapevine. "Sounds like your ex is stirring up trouble," he said. "You holding up?" "Yeah," Carter replied. "Just navigating the mess." "Keep your head up, kid," Eduardo said. "You don't owe her a thing. Focus on what's real." The call grounded him, a reminder of the people who had his back. Over the next few days, Haley's campaign escalated. She posted cryptic stories about betrayal and fake friends, tagging vague locations to keep the drama alive. Mutual friends started picking sides, some texting Carter to check in, others buying Haley's story. Jen sent him a screenshot of Haley's latest group chat rant. "Carter's been playing me this whole time. Emma's no friend. She's a snake." Carter showed it to Emma during their next hangout, a low-key movie night at her place. She sighed, tossing her phone aside. "I hate this. I didn't sign up to be your scapegoat." "You're not," Carter said, his voice firm. "She's mad because she's losing control. We don't owe her an explanation." Emma looked at him, her expression softening. "You're right. I like this, us hanging out. I don't want her to ruin it." "She won't," Carter promised, and for the first time, he let himself acknowledge the shift. This wasn't just friendship anymore. The way Emma's eyes held his, the ease of their conversations. It was something more, something Haley's test had accidentally sparked. As he left her place, his phone buzzed again. Another text from Haley. You'll regret this, Carter. Everyone's going to see who you really are. He didn't respond, but the message set his resolve. Haley wanted to fight, but he wasn't playing her game. The real battle was about to begin, and it wasn't about winning her back. It was about proving her wrong. Carter's phone buzzed relentlessly as he drove to the paramedic station, the Seattle rain drumming against his windshield. Haley's latest Instagram story, a tearful selfie captioned, "Betrayed by the people I trusted most," had sparked a firestorm. Comments piled up, some calling Carter a heartbreaker, others questioning Emma's loyalty. Haley's narrative was gaining traction, and Carter felt the pressure mounting. But he wasn't the type to crack. He'd faced worse in the back of an ambulance. At the station, his captain, Eduardo, caught his eye during a break between calls. "Heard your ex is turning this into a soap opera," Eduardo said, handing him a coffee. "You good?" Carter nodded, sipping the bitter brew. "She's loud, but she's wrong. I'm not playing her game." Eduardo clapped his shoulder. "Smart. Keep your focus on what matters. Drama like this burns out fast." The words steadied Carter, a reminder to stay grounded. He had a job to do, and Haley's tantrum wasn't going to derail him. Meanwhile, Emma was dealing with her own fallout. Haley had sent her a string of furious texts, accusing her of stealing Carter and ruining their friendship. Emma showed them to Carter over lunch at a taco truck near her design studio. "She's telling everyone I plotted this," Emma said, her voice tight but controlled. "Says I've been waiting for my chance to swoop in. It's ridiculous." Carter wiped his hands, his jaw tight. "She's rewriting history to make herself the victim. You don't owe her an explanation." Emma nodded, but her fingers tapped nervously on the table. "I know, but it's messing with my head. I've got clients asking me about it now. She's making this public." Carter felt a surge of protectiveness. "Then let's shut it down. Not with drama, with the truth." He'd been keeping things low-key with Emma out of respect for the messy situation, but Haley's attacks were forcing their hand. "What if we go public? Show we're not hiding anything?" Emma hesitated, then met his gaze. "You sure? It'll pour gas on her fire." "Let it burn," Carter said, his voice firm. "She doesn't get to control this." That evening, Carter posted a photo on Instagram. Him and Emma laughing over coffee at Pike Place Market, her design portfolio open between them. The caption was simple. "Sometimes the best things come when you least expect them." He tagged Emma, making it clear they were together. Not sneaking, not scheming, just living. The post wasn't a jab at Haley. It was a statement. They weren't playing her game. The response was immediate. Friends flooded the comments with support. "You two look happy," and "about time." While others, clearly in Haley's camp, left vague shade. "Wow, moving fast." Carter ignored the noise, but Emma texted him later, "Haley's losing it. She called me, screaming about how I'm a traitor." I hung up. Carter called her, his voice calm but resolute. "You did the right thing. She's mad because she's running out of moves." Emma sighed. "I just want this to stop. I like what we have, Carter. I don't want her ruining it." "She won't," he promised. "We're stronger than her drama." The words felt true, and not just about the fight with Haley. Something had shifted with Emma. Their late-night talks, her thoughtful questions about his work, the way she remembered small details. He was falling for her, and it wasn't just a rebound. The next day, Haley doubled down. She posted a long Facebook rant, painting Carter as a manipulative ex who'd emotionally cheated with Emma while they were together. "I gave him everything, and he threw it away for my best friend," she wrote, attaching an old photo of them at a Seahawks game, smiling like nothing could break them. The post racked up likes, but cracks showed in the comments. A mutual friend, Jen, wrote, "Haley, you wanted the break. You can't be mad he moved on." Another added, "Girl, you've been with Zach for weeks. Let it go." Carter got a call from Jen that night. "Haley's spiraling," she said. "She's telling people you and Emma were sneaking around before the break. And Zach's not helping. He's been dodging her, flirting with other girls at the gym. She showed up at his place last night, and he told her to back off." Carter wasn't surprised. "Sounds like her test isn't going as planned." Jen laughed. "Understatement. She's burning bridges left and right. Even her mom called her out, told her she made her bed and needs to lie in it." That bombshell landed the next morning. Haley's mother, Linda, commented on Haley's post. "Sweetie, you chose to test your relationship. Carter and Emma owe you nothing. I wish you'd own your choices instead of blaming them." The comment went viral in their circle, shared and screenshot by friends who were tired of Haley's victim act. It was a turning point. People started speaking up, calling out her hypocrisy. One friend posted, "Haley, you've been with Zach since day one of this break. You don't get to cry foul now." Carter and Emma met up that evening at a quiet bar in Fremont. She showed him the screenshots, her relief palpable. "It's like the tide's turning," she said, sipping her drink. "People are seeing through her." Carter nodded, but he stayed cautious. "She's not done yet. She'll try something else." He was right. The next day, Haley texted him, "Meet me tomorrow. We need to fix this before it gets worse." No apology, just another demand. Carter didn't respond, but he knew she was cornered. Zach was pulling away, her friends were doubting her, and her narrative was crumbling. He and Emma talked it over during a late-night call. "She's desperate," Emma said. "She thought she'd have the upper hand, and now she's got nothing." "Then we keep doing what we're doing," Carter said. "Living our lives. She'll have to face the consequences eventually." As he hung up, Carter felt a clarity he hadn't in months. Haley's test had backfired, exposing her for who she was. But it had also brought him and Emma closer, turning a friendship into something deeper. The fight wasn't over. Haley's next move would be her boldest yet, but Carter was ready. He wasn't just surviving her drama. He was building something real, and no amount of her posts could take that away. Carter's phone buzzed as he finished a grueling shift at the Seattle paramedic station. The weight of a 12-hour day lifting when he saw Emma's name. "Made your favorite tacos. Come over after?" He smiled, texting back, "Be there in 20. Haley's latest text, "Meet me tomorrow." "We need to fix this," sat unanswered. Her campaign to paint him as the villain had lost steam, and Carter wasn't about to give her another stage. He was done with her games. The next morning, Haley was waiting outside his apartment when he returned from a run. She leaned against her car, arms crossed, her posture rigid with desperation. "You didn't answer my text," she said, her voice sharp but shaky. "We need to talk, Carter." He unlocked the door, letting her follow him inside, but keeping his distance. "You've said plenty online," he replied, his tone even. "What's left to say?" Haley paced, her words rushing out. "I messed up, okay? This whole break was a mistake. Zach's a jerk, only cares about his gym stats and hooking up. I thought I needed to explore, but I was wrong. I want us back." Carter studied her, seeing the cracks in her confidence. Months ago, he might have softened, but now her words felt hollow. "You didn't want to break, Haley. You want an upgrade. You thought Zach was better, and when that crashed, you thought you could just come back. That's not how this works." Her eyes widened, stung. "That's not fair. I was confused, trying to figure out what I wanted. You're acting like I'm the bad guy, but you're the one who jumped to Emma the second I left." Carter's jaw tightened. "I didn't jump to anyone. You left, Haley. You moved out, started posting with Zach the next day. Emma and I started as friends, and it grew because she actually cares about me. You wanted to test our compatibility? Well, the test showed we're not compatible." Haley's voice broke, but her anger flared. "So you just done? 18 months, and you throw it away for her? We can fix this, Carter. Therapy, whatever it takes." He shook his head, exhaustion settling in. "There's nothing to fix. You made your choice, and I made mine. Emma's not a rebound. She's real. You need to let this go." Haley stormed out, slamming the door. Carter knew it wasn't over. She'd try one last play. Sure enough, that evening, she posted a tearful Instagram video, claiming Carter and Emma had betrayed her from the start, spinning a tale of emotional cheating. "I gave him everything, and he was plotting with my best friend," she said, her voice trembling for effect. The post exploded, racking up shares and sympathetic comments from strangers. But the tide had already turned. Friends who'd seen through Haley's narrative pushed back. Jen commented, "You wanted the break, Haley. You've been with Zach for months. Stop playing the victim." Another friend added, "You can't rewrite the story now. Carter and Emma are happy. Let them be." Even Haley's mother, Linda, weighed in again. "My daughter needs to take responsibility for her choices. I'm sorry, Carter, for the pain she's caused." The comments shifted the narrative. People started sharing screenshots of Haley's earlier post with Zach, exposing her hypocrisy. Her story unraveled as mutual friends confirmed Carter and Emma's timeline. Nothing started until after Haley left. Zach, meanwhile, had blocked her after she showed up at his gym uninvited, demanding commitment he never wanted. Yen texted Carter, "Haley is a mess." Zach dumped her, and she's got no one left to blame. Carter and Emma decided to take control. They posted a joint photo on Instagram, standing together at the same Pike Place coffee shop where they'd reconnected, smiling. The caption read, "Sometimes life surprises you with what's real. Grateful for this." The post flooded with support. Friends, co-workers, even Carter's captain, Eduardo, who commented, "You deserve the real deal, kid." The likes dwarfed Haley's video, and her followers began unfollowing in droves. Weeks later, Carter and Emma were stronger than ever. Their relationship had deepened through the chaos. Late-night talks about their dreams, weekend hikes in the Cascades, her cheering at his station's charity softball game. Emma met his parents, charming them with her wit and warmth. Carter met her family, welcomed like he'd always belonged. Their connection wasn't just chemistry. It was built on trust, the kind Haley never offered. Haley's social media presence faded. Her posts shifted to vague quotes about healing and self-love, but the damage was done. She'd burned bridges with friends, alienated her family, and lost the narrative she'd fought to control. Jen reported Haley was struggling to date, complaining that no one takes her seriously after her public meltdown. A year later, Carter proposed to Emma at that same Pike Place coffee shop, dropping to one knee mid-conversation. Her yes came with tears and a laugh that lit up the room. They posted the engagement photos online, and the response was overwhelming. Hundreds of congratulations from Eduardo's told you she was a keeper to Linda's "You two are beautiful together." Haley saw the post. Jen later told Carter and spiraled, calling friends to rant about her stolen future. But Carter felt only pity. Haley had gambled their relationship for a fantasy and lost. As Carter and Emma planned their autumn wedding, he reflected on Haley's compatibility test. It had worked, just not how she'd planned. It showed him what love wasn't and led him to what it was. Haley faced the consequences of her choices, alone with the truth she'd tried to bury. Carter, meanwhile, was building a life with someone who valued him, no tests required.